we start things off. We begin today's show with topic number one of the conversation, and that being Jaylen Waddle. Alabama wide receiver Jaylen Waddle. Will he play in this title game against Ohio State? Waddle, the junior from Houston, Texas, he sustained a right ankle injury against Tennessee on October 24th of last year. On the opening kickoff to start the game, the injury took place, and since then, he has missed 7 matchups, including, of course, the SEC Championship game and the Rose Bowl game. But he's missed 7 games since the injury. But according to teammates, during the media availability portion today, when I was able to speak to Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, and John Mechie, all three of these guys talked about how good Waddle looked in practice today or this week, how strong he's looked in practice, how he has attacked the rehab process, the recovery process. Jaylen Waddle looks really good in practice. He looks really strong in practice. He looks really skilled in practice right now, to the point to where Coach Saban has put this in he's put the ball in Jaylen Waddle's court. Jaylen Waddle was cleared by the medical staff to practice this week. Coach Saban mentioned to ESPN's Chris Lowe that he would have a chance to play this week, to play next week, depending on how much he's been able to progress, how much he's been able to maneuver, how much he's been able to do in terms of practice. And should he not have any pain, any feeling of discomfort in his right ankle, then he will be able to go. He should be able to go. So Saban has put this in the court of Waddle. And just going back to the conversations that I've had in talking with Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, and John Mechie, Waddle dominating the rehab process. Waddle on top of everything when you look at wanting to be back on the field, wanting to be in this game, wanting to play in this game because of the magnitude of this game and the importance of this game, and desiring to be on the field with his brothers, with his teammates in this atmosphere, and wanting to play and compete for a national championship. Now, prior to the mishap against the Volunteers, he had totaled 25 receptions for 557 yards and 4 touchdowns. We're looking at 4, 100-yard games during that tenure, all 4 games he played in prior to having the injury against Tennessee. He racked up at least 100 yards receiving in those 4 games. He had 23 yards per catch, 111.4 yards per game. So we already see here the explosive, dynamic playmaking weapon that he is. And while a lot of people would say, Jaylen Waddle, you don't have to do this. You don't have to play in this game. You're going to be a first-round pick, a high first-round pick. Save yourself. And I understand those that have that sentiment. I understand those that have that idea. But at the same time, Jaylen Waddle loves college football. He loves being around the game. He loves being around his teammates. He loves being around the culture that is Alabama football. And if there was a conversation that went on throughout his surgery and throughout the rehab process he's been on, if there's been a conversation between he and the medical staff that dove into, Jaylen, if you hit this rehab the way you can hit it, if you dissect this rehab, if you dominate this rehab, if you are persistent and determined in working your way back, then there can be an opportunity, there can be a chance for you to play in this national championship game against the Buckeyes. So if there was just so happened to be a conversation about all of this, and now Jaylen Waddle has put himself in a situation where he has done well in the rehab. He has done well in the process. He got cleared to be back on the field for practice, and now it comes down to simply, how does he feel about getting on the field, suiting up, and playing against Ohio State? I feel like if Jaylen Waddle's got no pain in that ankle when he wakes up, Monday morning of next week, January 11th. I think Jaylen Waddle will be on that field, and I think he will play for this title game against the Buckeyes. I mean, when you look at, first and foremost, the job that Devontae Smith has done in Jaylen Waddle's absence in the 7 games he missed, Smitty, 60 receptions for 1,085 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 100-yard games. I remember when Waddle got the injury, so many people, especially a couple of national media pundits, talked about where with Waddle out, that's over with. Alabama does not have a receiver as potent, as explosive, as dynamic, as innovative, as creative as Jaylen Waddle. With him out, they have nobody else quite like that. You can stick a fork in Alabama. They do not win a national championship. They do not even get to the title game without Waddle, and all Devontae Smith said was hold my beer, because he went out there and just completely took his game to the next level. Nobody has been able to slow Devontae Smith down, let alone stop the young man. So you have him in the line of play, but if you add a Jaylen Waddle back with a Devontae Smith, then this just makes Smitty all the more dangerous here in the national championship matchup against the Buckeyes. And not just Smitty, you look at the entire wide receiver room and receiving options as a whole. If you add a Jaylen Waddle back, you put him back with a Devontae Smith, with a John Mechie, who's had a strong year, with a Jaleel Billingsley, who's starting to really pop off as a tight end who runs routes like a wide receiver. You put him back with a Slade Bolden, who's starting to catch some passes even more now. You put him back with even a Najee Harris that has been killer coming out of the backfield, catching receptions from the quarterback. This makes it a handful for Ohio State to stop due to whether Jaylen Waddle is used as a decoy or not. Now, I've been told from the way he's been able to practice, he looks a bit more than a decoy. He looks like he can be able to get on the field and actually do some things, actually run some routes, actually cut, actually bend, actually move, actually maneuver on that right ankle. That's what I've been told from trusted sources, is from seeing him in practice, Jaylen Waddle looks like more than a decoy. He looks like he can do more on the field and actually be a contributing factor in this matchup, in this game here against Ohio State. And if you put him out there, he's going to direct so many eyeballs. He's going to attract so much attention. He is going to get so much focus from a corner. He's going to get so much focus from a safety, where now you open up more of the young man that just won the Heisman, Devontae Smith. You would open up more of Slade Bolden. You would open up more of John Mechie. You would open up more of Jaleel Billingsley. You would open up more of Najee Harris. You would even open up more of Miller Forrestall, who's getting receptions as well. So you put a Jaylen Waddle back on the field, you reinsert that explosive weapon back into this arsenal of wide receivers, of whom did not miss a beat when he was hurt. So if Alabama did not miss a beat those 7 games where Waddle was out, imagine how even better it's going to be against Ohio State if he is able to play in this matchup. And I know the Buckeyes have a great defense. They have a very strong defense, guys up front that can affect the quarterback. They've got linebackers that are great lateral quickness, sideline to sideline, dissecting plays, flying to the flow of the football. And they've got some really good guys in the secondary as well. Shaun Wade, a guy that's looked at to be a first-round draft pick. So even though the Buckeyes, they've got talent, they've got experience, they've got leadership, they've got guys all over the defensive side of the ball that can make plays, when you put a Jaylen Waddle, when you insert him back into this lineup, when you insert him back into this roster, when you put him back at wide receiver, it opens up everybody else, and it frustrates everybody on the defensive side, because they're going, okay, he's back, so we got to put a guy on him. We got to attend to him. We have to focus on him. We have to make him a priority. And when you make him a priority, now this unleashes Devontae Smith even more. John Mechie talked about it. There's not one guy that can slow Smitty down. And if there was not one guy that can slow him down, when there was just him out there, now you're opening up a huge can of worms where Devontae Smith is concerned when you put Jaylen Waddle back out there. As I mentioned, same thing for John Mechie, who has shown you this season that he can pop, he can be explosive, he can make big plays, he can create, chunk yardage, whether it's for touchdowns or whether it's for long first downs. For Slade Bolden, we have seen at times this season he can get open, he can catch the football, he can make something happen. We have seen it with Najee Harris, we have seen it with Jaleel Billingsley. So the big news here coming from today in the media viewing period as the team gets set for to take on Ohio State is what's going on with Jaylen Waddle. How does he look in practice? How does he look in practice? Is he able to cut? Is he able to move? Is he able to be agile? Is he able to, make those moves to where he can be a marquee contributor in the title game? And according to his teammates in the media viewing period, everyone spoke on he looks good in practice. He looks great in practice. He is maneuvering in practice. He is on top of everything that he needs to be on top of in terms of the rehab, in terms of the recovery process, but not just that, having him back on the field. He's moving quick, he's cutting, he's bending, he's running in a straight line, and from people I've been able to gather information from, he looks like he can be more than just a decoy on the field for Alabama. He looks like he can actually be able to contribute in a way where Ohio State will have to take an account for him. And when that happens, it opens up more of everybody else to the disposal of Mac Jones as well as Waddle himself. So this is going to be interesting, folks. This is going to be very interesting. Now, once again, it comes down to him, though. Coach Saban has put the ball in his court. How comfortable does he feel? How set does he feel? Does he have, or is he experiencing no pain whatsoever in that right ankle? It comes down to Waddle, but as of right now, looking good in practice. So we will see if he takes that field. But right now, things are looking up where that is concerned. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.